I don't trust the police. Well, no shit, Don, and I doubt they trust you either. Check this out, guys. I am in Tennessee at Walmart, where they have the missing kids posters, and there is not one of Summer Wells. Can you believe that? In Tennessee at the Walmart, and no Summer Wells missing poster. Ain't that shocking? Anyway, welcome back. This is part 2 to the phone interview with Don Wells. Just to freshen y'all up, this is Don's little conversation with Chris after Chris pissed him off by saying he was downstairs watching Girls Gone Wild and then hauled ass up to the shed while he was over there. Well, Chris didn't say all that. Chris just said, I think he might have been there. I'm the one that said he was downstairs watching Girls Gone Wild and run to the shed. That's on me. I ain't trying to put the blame on Chris. You know, somebody said in that video I made about Candace's interview at the house that they thought I was horrible, how mean I was, and how bad I talked about Chris. Did y'all think I was mean about Chris? Because if I was, I did not mean for it to come off that way. I like McDonough. Hell, in one of my videos, I even talk about, hey, Chris, John Davis, true crime, big fan of yours. Hopefully one day we can do a live together. Let me get about 50,000 more subscribers and I'll holler at you. I can't believe somebody thought that I was mean about Chris. The only thing, and I watched it again because it upset me kind of. I was like, what? The only thing I think that they could have possibly took the wrong way is Chris said that in rural Tennessee, that was kind of normal how the Wells house was. And I was like, bullshit, I beg to differ. That's the only thing I think that I said mean. I joked about him going down the steps a little bit. I mean, really? God, I don't even think Chris would have thought that was an attack. If you do, Chris, I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't mean it like that. I just thought we was having fun. Anyway, I want to get that out there. I just want everybody to know where I stand. Big fan, McDonough. Big fan. All right. Kind of picking up where we left off at. Don, like I said, everything gets jumpy around. But Don talks about having the connection the whole way home on Messenger. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, it's weird that he brings that up voluntarily. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I think if they're going to get tripped up, it's going to be something to do with tech, records, something. I hope. I mean, I don't care what it is they get tripped up on, but if they are guilty, I want them to get tripped up on something. I don't want this to be another damn Madeleine McCann or JonBenet Ramsey. I want somebody's ass to pay for this, whoever's guilty. And it's my opinion. It could be them. I'm not saying it is. Could be. All right. They ask, what was Grandis doing when he pulled up? And he says Grandis was talking to the police. Now, in another spot, I swear, it seems like Chris asked him the exact same question. And he says Grandis was just out there looking mesmerized. I don't know. I'm going to add this in the link. Hopefully I'll remember to put it in both videos so you guys can go back over it, because it's really hard to follow Don, because it seems like everything is just a big running contradiction. And then he says that the boys were looking for Summer when the police showed up. Now, assuming he's telling the truth and he beat them all back, I guess that would make sense, because he said the boys were down there searching when he got there, and he got there before the police. So if the police were right behind him, that makes sense. So we can go with that if we're choosing to believe Don. Now, I still say it's fishy as hell that he beat the police there. And I know everybody's going to be in the comments, oh man, I live out in Timbuktu and it takes the police 7 hours to get to my house. Well, maybe it does, okay? But I talk averages, the odds of things, okay? So just don't bust my ass over every little detail. I'm trying, man. Says he was the first one there. Nobody was there when he got there. And I'm guessing he means nobody but the boys and the neighbor, because he says when he got there he sees the boys and the neighbor searching. But then he says Grandis was talking to the police when he got there. He tells like 3 different versions of what Grandis was doing. It's really just amazing how it seems like there's so many options of what was happening at what time. Like I said, he tells a story. He went straight to the shed. He seen the neighbor and the boys. And when he seen them searching, he knew she was gone. And I've never understood that either. Why then did you know she was gone? You know, if they're searching, then apparently they don't know that. And they were there and you weren't. So why do you know she was gone? Do you know something they don't? Makes me think maybe you do. I don't know. You know, and then I've thought about this too. He says the first thing he thought he should do is go to that shed. Well, according to you, Summer would never leave that yard. So why would you even go to the shed? You went to that shed for a reason. I put this in my last video, and we think that was a nefarious reason because a lot of people seem to think that shed's a nefarious drop-off point for nefarious activity. A lot of people think that. And, you know, when I first heard that, I was like, I think you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Now I'm like, could be. Could be. I don't know. Seems more and more likely the more I look into this. But yeah, that makes no sense. Why he would even go to that shed if Summer wouldn't leave the yard? Why? Why would you even go there? I went to the place I knew she wouldn't leave, and that's where I would have started looking. Then Chris talks about, well, did you go in the shed? And he's like, did I then? Or was it later I went in? It's like he don't want to admit to going in, but he's afraid not to leave that open. So it makes me think there's a reason he's scared to just say, no, I didn't, or he's scared to just say, yes, I did. Because it seems like he's real fuzzy about if he did or didn't. He don't want to, you know, pick one or the other. That's when he talks about he's going to go question drug dealers. Like I said, God, I wish he would have. That would have been an interesting story. Talks about his road is a drug corridor. People just all the time in his driveway constantly doing dope. I don't know. That seems like a hell of a weird thing that I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I'm not from there. I don't know the vibe of the area, but it just seems really weird. Around here, if somebody caught you at night in their driveway doing dope, you probably going to, the best you're going to come out of that is with an ass whipping. The worst is in a box. So I don't know how they roll on Ben Hill Road, but that shit wouldn't be going on around where I live. I'll tell you that now. If they're doing that, they are either really stupid or really brave. Probably the first. Then he talks about saying he was, he says he was already searching the house when the police are pulling up. So not only did he beat the cops there, he beat them there by a ton. Because, excuse me, I'm feeling under the weather, man. I'm afraid I got the it again. But like I said, not only did he beat him there, he must have beat him there by a ton because he's already been to the shed, the creek, all that, done made it up to the house and started searching there before the police get there. That makes me think that there's a lot of people don't think he was ever at work that day. I don't know. It seems like TBI would have already busted his ass if there wasn't a lot of people that said he was at work that. That's another one of them things, man, where it just don't make sense how TBI seems to be clueless. And I swear, every time you hear him talk, it's like, we don't know shit. We can't rule anybody out. We can't rule anybody in. We don't have persons of interest. We don't have suspects. Hell, we don't even have an idea of who Summer is. What's your name? Who are you? They just seem so clueless. I don't know if they're that damn ignorant or they just come off that poorly. And then he throws in a little dig about, and this kind of pisses me off too. He talks about, he basically blames the boys for the door being unlocked. Number one, how do you know the door was unlocked? You don't know that. He says, he never says for sure, but he says he thinks Summer could open the door. And he says, we've cussed them about that door. I like to see you cuss a grown-ass man about a door, big boy. And he brags about Summer chasing the lawnmower. Oh, man, she can keep up with the lawnmower. Great. And that's a good thing, Don? You ever think about, what if you made a sudden turn or something and Summer fell and she went under the damn lawnmower? Fingers, hands, toes? What kind of idiot lets his daughter run around behind him while he's mowing grass? That shows you right there. There's a good chance this could have originally been an accident. Because the way they look at shit is just beyond me. He talks about she's chasing the boys on their dirt bikes. Yeah, well, that's safe as hell. Little 5-year-old girl running around while there's little boys driving dirt bikes. Parenting skills are a 1 out of 10. I'll say that's too high. Let's make it yeah, there we go. That's what it was. All right. After he goes over the lawnmower thing, he goes through the twirling bullshit again. She loved to twirl. We've already heard that. I don't even like talking about that crap. And that's what I think that is. It's crap. He seems like a dad that has no idea what his daughter likes. She liked to twirl. She just twirl into my arm, though. Now he says Grandma was standing there looking dumbfounded when he pulled up. First she's talking to the 5-0. Now she's standing there looking dumbfounded. I'm telling you, he contradicts himself 50 times in this interview. At least. Maybe more. Then they talk about it was Granny's fault he got arrested. Because Granny said even though he didn't have a regular pistola, he had him a a little muzzle loader, I think, black powder, whatever type. He said Granny said he put a real bullet in and he could shoot him like that. I don't know about none of that. That just all seems like dumb shit to me that Don probably don't realize is dumb. So he keeps telling that same dumb story. Then he says and this is interesting too. He says he wanted to move to Utah. He always knew something was going to happen to Summer. Well. Ain't that something? If you always knew something was going to happen to her, well, I guess you are very intuitive, Don. That's crazy as hell. I'd hate to feel like I would hate to feel like one of my kids, always knew something was going to happen to him. I would be so worried about that kid. I'd have her wrapped in bubble wrap 24/7 in a room with no electricity. I'd be afraid she'd get electrocuted. No water, nothing. Just in a room all the time. I'd let her have some Nerf toys. That'd be it. Can you imagine actually if that was true, always knowing something's going to happen to your kid? And he said he always told Candace to watch her. Now, is that one of them little peeks into something maybe? Is he like subliminally saying that something happened to her because Candace wasn't watching her? I don't know. It makes you wonder. Makes me wonder. Do you wonder? You don't. Oh, well, go ahead. Have the floor. What do you think? Oh, tight-lipped now, are you? Yeah, that's what I thought. This shit ain't easy. I make it look easy, but it ain't. Says he just had this intense love for her. Another one of them things I read and I feel gross after reading it. It's weird to say that about your daughter. Intense love. And he tells his big ass lie about coming across that U.S. at 110 average. So I don't know if Don understands what average means. So that means at times he must have been doing 150, 160. You know, I mean, there's some places you cannot go, no matter what, over 50, 60 miles an hour, like real curvy roads. So if he's averaging 110, he must have been 180. A lot of it. I don't think Don, I think his brain ain't developed enough. I think it's stunted by years of drugs and everything else that he don't even realize the shit he says sounds so ignorant. Then he talks about the big brawl. It was Dawn versus Candace versus Grandis versus Jose. It was a 3-on-1. He talks about he's party crashing his sister's party for free food. And I thought that was cheesy and cheap sounding to me, to just add into a story that you don't need to add that. But Dawn see nothing wrong with it. And because he was doing that, Candace heard him at a party and thought he was cheating. I got news for both of y'all. Dawn, Candace, both of y'all, listen up. Y'all ain't super, how should I put this? Attractive to other people. So you shouldn't be so worried about each of you cheating. Just saying. Then talks about him and Grandis now BFFs. They used to get along real rough, but now BFFs, big buddies. Everything's cool now. Talks about he says that after the little blow up and Dawn went to jail, Grandis told Jose, "Get your crap, you are out of here." She MLB umpired his ass. "You are out of here." Like she even did the whoop whoop. You ever seen him when they call a strikeout? Or she give him one of them. Bring it back to duty. Then he brings it back to the duty fired. He rails on about that for a little while. Brings it back to again. He don't trust the police. As weird as the guy he fired was, he rode to work with this guy a couple times, or quite a few times. He said it was to save gas. Would you ride to work with somebody that was so doped up and it was so foreign to you about how they were acting and shit that you were just super creeped out? Would you ride to work with that person? I wouldn't. Would you? I know I wouldn't. My score reminder's coming on for the WVU game. Am I going to be able to actually keep up with the score and do my video at the same time? Oh, hells yeah. I hope that ain't showing up on the film, though. It is. Alright, guys, having a little technical difficulties. I think I got it worked out now, so shouldn't be any more issues. By the way, West Virginia won. Beat UConn. Number 15 UConn. Beat number 3. Nail biter. Anyway, Don, we're going to pick up where I left off. Don talks about he's fired 5 in a row over drugs. Now, I don't get that Don's some kind of foreman or something like that. I get he's just like basically a sheetrock finisher. So if he's firing people, it'd have to be like some laborer that they put to help him, I would assume. But he acts like he's running all, the whole show by himself, but that's not the case. But you know how Don is. You'd think Don was about 5'2", because he seems to kind of have that Napoleon complex a little bit. Y'all ever get that? Do you? What? Nah, I like doing that, man. Can you imagine if I do that and I'm playing around and it just goes perfectly along with somebody, how bad that would freak them out? How do you know what I said? Anyway, back to the subject. Then he talks about the crazy dopehead dude that he fired. We're going to start calling him a name. We need a name for him. How about Trippy? We'll call him Trippy. He says Candace didn't like how Trippy was looking at Summer, and there were several occasions that Candace seen him looking at Summer weird. Why would there be several? Why would there be more than one? If somebody's looking at my little girl weird and it's kind of freaking me out, he ain't gonna look at her twice. But I guess Don do anything save gas money. Ride with a guy that you swear up and down's a trash, and it's so awkward and weird. I don't know. Guess gas was a lot in Tennessee at that time. Only thing I can figure. Said that dude Trippy was his first suspect, still is. Even though TVI's done cleared Trippy, said Trippy had an alibi. In Don's mind, he's still the man to be looking at. Said Trippy do anything to get back at him for firing him. Like I said, man, it seems an awful extreme reaction to getting fired. Then Don says, I don't know why he brings it up. It says weed's legal in West Virginia. Well, I'm from, and I can tell you right now, weed ain't legal. Now, you can get it prescribed if you have the card and stuff, but it ain't legal. Know where you got your info from, Don. And don't be dragging West Virginia into this. This ain't a West Virginia problem. This is a Don problem. Then he talks about he's afraid Trippy, if the heat starts getting on him, he'll get rid of evidence. And by evidence, he means his dog. Well, you would, I don't know. What. Let's not even entertain that, because I'm pretty sure Trippy ain't the one. You know, it just seems like Trippy would not be able to pull this off and stay out in front of TBI this long. No matter what you think of TBI, Trippy couldn't possibly, well. The other people, I think, maybe outsmarting them or no smarter than Trippy, I don't think, so who knows. Then he talks about, goes to talking about his family back in Utah, and he talks about this charge he got out of Utah, and he says what had happened was this dude was being bad to his sister. So to get him back to handle that shit, Don went and stole all his crap, stole his truck, loaded his truck up with his other stuff, and stole it too, and sold it dirt cheap, because it wasn't about stealing stuff. It was about getting the guy back. No, I don't know who believes that. I don't believe that. Do y'all believe that? What? Really? Well, maybe. I'm just BSing. Wouldn't that be funny, though, if I played along like that, and like what I was saying kept matching up to what the person was saying? They'd be like, how does he know? This is recorded. I'll start doing that a lot. Just see if it ever will match up. Somebody hit me in the comments. He tells this big, long, drawn-out BS story about running drugs. He makes it out like he kind of give me the idea. Y'all ever seen that movie? No Country for Old Men, or it's something like that. It's got Tommy Lee Jones in it. He makes it out like it's that action-packed. You know, it's crazy. Then he talks about he knows the clothes that Summer was wearing in the milk jug picture is what she was wearing when she was abducted. I find that really interesting. So she was still wearing all that long sleeve crap hours after she got home? Really? Why? The windows ain't down when you're at home, so that's not going to make her cold. So why was she still wearing that? And that's starting to make me believe that the milk jug picture is what a lot of people think it is. And God, I hate to think that, but Jesus, it's really starting to point that direction. That's the way my theory's starting to be shaped. And I hate that, but it really is. Then he makes another creepy statement. Summer didn't want Candace. She only wanted him. It took Candace years of bribes and taking her places and stuff like that before she liked Candace, because all she wanted was him. You're full of shit, Dawn. That was so weird. I didn't like none of that. I've never had anyone love me like that. Another gross thing. Can't stand when he talks like that. So wrong to me. Then he brings up his ex's meth problem. Chris talks about the ex. I think he asked something about her. And Donna, in the beginning, was like, yeah, she's all right. I think she's sobered up. Then he's like, well, she said one time you left kids at the dope guy's house. He's like, she's a meth head. She don't know what she's talking about. That's crazy in hell. I've never heard that. Don't know what she's talking about. Of course. Talks about the cops drug tested both him and Candace. He come up clean as the snow, but Candace failed for a week. If that's true, I'm kind of shocked that that's the only drug they found in either one of them's system. If that's true, maybe they're just raging alcoholics. Because Candace, the way she acts, though, that doesn't seem like a high person. That seems like a person that's just smashed on Xanax or heroin or something like that. Like that one where she's smoking the cigarette, she's like dropping ashes all over herself. That don't look like somebody that's high to me. I don't. Talks about Candace drinks too much, and when he drinks, it's awful because he has to babysit her. Like Dawn's always sober, keeping Candace in check and watching out for her. I don't believe that either. That sounds like bull crap too. Then, talks about Candace won't drive high and that she only smokes at night before bed because once Candace smokes, she's done. Give it the countdown because she is out. That's what he says. Then he talks about Hunter a little bit. Talks about every time he's seen Hunter, they'd hug and stuff. And, then he mentions Hunter doesn't have a dad. And I swear I think that was just to throw that dig in there. Because he knows, they're going to see this or hear this. He does. And I think he takes little passive-aggressive cheap shots like that. Because he's like that. He really is. And he even mentions, I felt sorry for him. Poor kid living in town in that government house. And thanks for telling the world that, Dawn. I'm sure that's really going to help Hunter moving forward, You know how kids can be. He didn't need that shit coming his way. That's really a low blow, Dawn, because that was some passive-aggressive bullshit. Says that Allie thinks Dawn called the welfare, but he wouldn't do that unless it was absolutely necessary. And, I don't think he would even do it then. Unless, the only way he would do it would be as a revenge thing. I don't think he would do it because it'd be the right thing to do. That's my opinion. All these are my opinions. Everything I've ever said on any video is always just my opinion. Then, he talks about Allie and him turned instantly when Summer disappeared. They were supposed to already been arguing, so I don't know. That didn't make sense. Then he says that at the parade, when Candace is carrying the banner with Robin and stuff, that Allie is laughing and says, "Ha ha, you ain't got your little girl no more." I don't believe that. I really don't. And don't get me wrong. I don't think I don't think Allie's above that. But, I don't know, man. That just seems kind of way out there. And, You would think if she actually did say that, Candace seems like the type that would have went over there and there would have been some hands thrown. I don't believe that. He talks about he's not violent, but he's a protector of kids and animals. Well, that's in stark contrast to what I've heard about you, Don. Jody Sue says you torture animals. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. Then he says, then they start going over what should happen to the person that took Summer. And he dances around this like it's unbelievable. He says he knows what prison's like. You're lucky to get out of prison alive anyway. He has to leave things up to God. He don't know if he wants Summer's abductor in prison. Can you believe that? He acts like he's such this devout Christian that he wouldn't want anything to happen to this person. Do y'all buy that? Well, I mean, if the person's him, then it makes sense, but that's the only way that would make any sense. He says accidents happen, you know. Couldn't fault somebody if it was an accident. Bullshit, you accidentally do something to one of my kids, I'm going to accidentally smack that ass. Anyway, and he says if it was an accident, Candace would call the cops for sure, 100% guaranteed. Yeah, it makes you think sometimes, possibly, Don's just super damn naive, and maybe he ain't in on it. Maybe he just is a horrible person that happened to be, that this just happened to happen to. It's possible. You know, I feel like it's more possible that Don went in on it than Candace. I really do. And I don't like admitting that, but that's my opinion. I really think if there's one of them that's not in on it, I think it's Don. I know a lot of people's going to blow me up for that, but, you know, I don't know, man. We're going to find out, though, man. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Eventually, we're going to know what happened. I really feel good about that. Talks about Candace on Facebook 24/7. And that tells him it wasn't an accident. I don't know what that's all about. And he talks about the police brought Candace a bottle. And I'm assuming he means like a bottle of liquor. Like the cops are like, oh, you're so upset. Here's you a fifth of tequila. Have at it. If that's true too, that blows my mind. And like the weird stuff he said about the cops, you would almost think they would say something, you know, to answer these insane statements. And they've said zero about none of the crap Don sold. You know? You really think, God, if that happened, then these police are horrible. If they let Dawn go looking for drug dealers and then brought Candace a bottle of liquor to help her nerves, and God, you cops are horrible at your jobs. Talks about what did the boys share with the specialist? The truth. That's still a thing that blows my mind, as long as they've been in custody, that somehow they haven't spilled the beans either intentionally or accidentally to blow up that timeline and stuff. That really makes me wonder how, I don't know, that's really weird to me. They've been in custody for a while now, and still it don't seem, but we don't know what they've said, you know, to be fair. We don't know what the police really know, to be fair. But if you ask them, they'll say they don't know shit. Don says that truck was at the bottom of the driveway when Summer disappeared. Now, TBI has said that it was either possibly the day before or that day. They won't tell for sure. So it's weird that Don seems to think he knows exactly when that truck was there. Then he starts talking about his dreams. Talks about being at a commercial construction site. It's the most beautiful day ever. Seen Summer more beautiful, more perfect. It was the most beautiful dream. A weird place to dream about seeing your daughter at a commercial construction site. Right? Then he talks about Candace had a dream, and Summer caught a fish, and she give it huggies and kissies. Now, I'm hoping that that was something that Summer said a lot, so he used it for that. I'm hoping that's not the way Dawn describes stuff. You don't reckon he comes up to Candace when he gets home from work or something? He's like, hey, come up here and give me some huggy and kissies. You think? I don't know. Possible. Hold on a second. Then he says, he talks about some woman from Canada had a dream. And that Summer says, can I tell you a secret? I miss my daddy. Now, possibly that's the truth, and the woman just had that dream. But I'm skeptical. Let's just say that. I'm very skeptical of that. Then Candace, her new dreams, people are chasing her and trying to kill her. I think that's a flashback to everybody's being so mean to him. If you ask my opinion, that's what that's all about. Then he goes over some more of his gross quotes. I never thought I could love someone like that, or she could love me like that. I'm not even going to say it again. I've said it through this whole video. I don't know why she loved me like that. Then he talks about his stepsisters being mean to him. And this is interesting that he starts going through this stuff. Then he talks a little about the claims against him from Utah. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't want to get in trouble for talking about that. He says, and this is the feeling I got when he keeps talking about, well, y'all can keep the house and keep all that. I'm going to stay out of it. It's almost to me like he's trying to get them to drop the charges by saying he ain't going to want any inheritance or anything like that. And the way they tell it is, there's not much anyway, you know. I don't know. I believe them over him, but I really think that's the why he talks about that. I really think he's trying to, you know, basically make a bargain. He talks about things between him and his stepsister. And he repeats, you know, I'll never call Dad again. That's fine. Y'all can have him. So gross, man. So gross. You can tell it's all that's on his mind when it comes to his dad is this inheritance. It seems pretty obvious to me. Then, you know, Chris is like, we got to talk about your background. And Dawn's like, oh, geez, do we? I don't want everybody knowing that shit. Can't we just keep that under wraps? Chris tells him, he's like, don't be hating on me now. We got to do this stuff. Then once again, they talk about Dawn's detectives. We all know that's bullshit. Then he says that TBI, they took some stuff from his house, which, you know, I'm sure they would, right? And he talks about they took some stuff that they never give back. Like they stole from him. Stole his camera. Well, there's probably some really good stuff on that camera. And probably the next time you see that, it's going to be labeled evidence or, Exhibit A is how you're going to see your camera next, if I had to guess. Just saying, that's my opinion. Once again, he whiffs again on what he'd do to Summer's abductor. He goes back to his God speak a lot. And I don't want anybody to think I'm anti-religion, but Dawn is putting on a show. I'm telling you, it's all BS. He's just putting on a show. Then he says he wished he knew who would buy a kid, because then he'd go after him. Dawn's going to take care of this shit himself. Then he talks about he asked the police if he can pose as a sicko that wanted a kid to help catch people. Well, you'd probably be good for the part. I'm just going to leave it at that. And once again offers the detective's phone number to Chris. Hey, you need that number? You want to contact these people? And they'll straighten this out, tell you about all the investigating they've been doing. That's the end of Don's phone interview with Chris. It was long. There's a lot in there. Like I said, you need to watch it yourselves. It's just the timeline is so hard to keep straight with the way he explains things. And, I really find it suspicious that he wants everybody to know he was there before the cops because he was so fast at getting home. A lot of people don't think he was ever at work that day. I think maybe what it was is he may have got to work and did what he needed to do to be seen, and then did some shadiness and maybe went back and come home, or I don't know which way he did it, but I think I'm pretty sure he was seen at work by somebody. So I don't think it's a great alibi, but I think it's what he's trying to use. And I think there's a lot to take about the phones, him saying they were deleted after 3:30. I guarantee you there's something going to come out, and it's going to come out that it happened after 3:30. And I'm thinking now, because I've thought about this, because making these videos about this phone call has been quite an undertaking. And through that time, I've thought about it, and I really think that they've deleted everything after 3:30 themselves, probably. And he's going to play dumb on that and be like, no, it was on there until y'all got him. Then y'all must have deleted him. I got news for you, Don. Deleting don't mean it's gone. There's ways of finding that. So if that's your theory, I don't think it's going to work out too good for you. I think it's a big tell, too, how he's so lenient on what to do to that abductor. That's bothered me from the beginning. Then, throughout this interview, just so many creepy quotes that bothered me. And those are the real reason that Don was become a suspect in my eyes. From the first time I heard some of this stuff, it just sent chills down my spine. Tell me what you guys think. Any of that stuff stick out to you? Anything y'all find extremely important in that interview? Let me know in the comments. Because like I said, man, I feel like, and I read the comments a lot, and I see some really good ones that help me understand and develop a better idea of what I think happened. So don't be afraid to comment. Like I said, I hate doing it, but thumbs up, subscribe, turn your bell on. Which one to leave out? Subscribe, comment. Subscribe, comment, thumbs up, ring the bell. All that good jazz. And talk to you soon, guys. Hope you like it. Let me know. Either way.